And the easy way to think about this peer coaching project is that the teacher serves as a supervisor. A student, third or fourth or fifth grade student, serves as a peer coach. For this study, we chose high-functioning kids. It's interesting to think about. At some point we'll replicate this with moderately functioning kids. We've been doing a lot of things with like cross-age peer tutoring in elementary schools, having fifth graders read to kindergartners. That's another thing you can do with young kids with attentional problems. We don't have time to talk about everything. So peer coaching, I call it a say-do review program. Okay? Tell me what you're going to do. Let's look at your goals and pick a goal from the things that we're working on. Get along with others during recess and play a game together. Something like that. Okay? The do part is the peer coach actually goes into the playground and observes how the child is doing. And then the review is giving feedback. And then there's that matching part. So they each rate how the student did. And then they assign points. I'm going to show you. So the peer coaching, they pick a daily goal. Remind the student. So this was at the beginning of the day. This is just before the beginning of either lunch or recess. The student then looks to see how the student is doing. At the end of the period, they both rate how the student did on their goal. And then they report or record the number of points that the student earned. And then there's a goal sheet. Okay? So the student rates himself or herself. The coach does a rating. All right, I just want to look at recess and lunch. We were looking at we were doing direct observations of positive peer social interactions. Okay, so we're doing interval observations, and it was a partial interval recording system anyway. Okay? So the kids that we focused on, 3 kids, Heidi, Colin, and Samantha, engaged in positive peer social interactions about 45% of the time during baseline, 45% of the time, and 68% of the time. Okay. We then looked at class-wide peer tutoring. So this really affected how they did in the classroom. Okay. I'm sorry to do this to you so fast. So this was in the classroom only. And when you put the CWPT in place, they do really well because they're just interacting with one other kid. But it really didn't have any effect on what they did in the cafeteria and at recess. When we put the coaching into place, okay, we got 62% positive, 75% and 90% positive social interactions. Okay? Now, we had a big celebration about that. You want to know why? The hardest thing to change with kids with ADHD is positive peer social interactions. Okay, it's really hard for them to do better socially and to get others to interact with them in a positive way. Okay, and so again, this is I work with my students and we do a lot of small studies, and that's why I call these promising approaches.